Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to build the Mark 3 version of the RC Tamiya Mini 4WD. As you can see here, we have the Mark 1 version from my first video. That's where it all started. And then I have the Mark 2 version here with some improvements, basically an improved receiver and radio system, and using the one-way orange wheels to match the front orange wheels. And the classic parts here, this bumper is from the Volume 1 tune-up set. And this rear stay is from the Volume 2 tune-up set, if you are familiar with the classic tune-up sets from Tamiya. In this video for the Mark 3, it's going to be all clear as in transparent. The focus will be building a transparent Mini 4WD that's radio control. That's why you see this clear chassis here. It's going to be special because we're going to add lights. And here I have this micro LED lights. So we could add these lights. They are not the Tamiya original ones, I understand, but they will work fine if we put them into the, for example, the high mount set or the front bumper. For all my RC builds, it's important to know that the steering system set which I use only works for the VS, TZ and TZX chassis. And that is why I've ordered for a clear, transparent TZ chassis. I'll post a link to that in the video description below if you're interested to get that clear chassis. To install the servo to the S1 chassis, you need to use this spacer. This transparent spacer comes from the high mount set here. In the high mount set, besides the bumper and the high mount roller, you have this type of spacers. I use the thicker one, which is this one here. And I drill two small holes to attach these tiny screws. Using these two screws, the servo will be secured to this spacer, and then using the longer screws, the whole attachment will install to the S1 chassis here. You need to use a round file like this one to enlarge the end of the slot here, so that this long screw will fit in nicely. Servo is finally installed on the car, and I end up using two of those spacers, one at the bottom and another one at the top. In this shot, you can see how the electronics are wired up. The battery gets connected here, and 4.2 volts enter this step-up regulator, and it outputs 5 volts here to the receiver. This is the Spektrum receiver. And if you notice, the ESC does not use the 5 volts from the step up. Instead, it gets connected directly to 4.2 volts here, because 5 volts output from the regulator will kill this ESC. And this ESC has two white wires here which will be connected to the motor. The ESC also has a signal wire here. This yellow wire gets connected to the elevator channel here on the receiver, because I'm using the elevator stick to control forward and backward for the car. The white wire is the signal of the servo, and it gets connected to the aileron channel on the receiver, because I'm using the aileron stick to control steering. The servo does use the 5 volts, so it gets connected here, which basically connects to the 5 volts output of the regulator. Finally, the all-clear chassis is complete, as you can see here, and we have a couple of upgrades. This clear bumper here is from the lightweight, transparent high mount roller set, and these rollers are from that high mount set as well. These are the same rollers which I used in the Mark 2 with the two stabilizing poles. And also at the back, you see this transparent rear stay. This is the Super 2 rear stay. It's from the Super 2 transparent chassis. I'll post a link to that in the description below. Also, this is the Tamiya 15113 rear stay. It only works for chassis with single attachment point like the Super one and the TZ chassis. So what I've done here is I've attached this 15113 part to the chassis, and then I bought on the Super 2 rear stay to give it that transparent look. And these are the lights installed, and the wires run through here to the power cables. And here we have the servo, and this one is the Tamiya side roller set, because the chassis by itself does not have the sides for attaching the stabilizing post. Alright, let's start to build the body shell for this car. This is the classic Vanquish which I have. If you notice, I've swapped out the cream wheels with these pink wheels because I realized that they go well with the decal as well as with the green rollers. I remember back in the day there is a yellow version of the Vanquish, and when I look up the internet, it's called the Zenquish. Today this body shell is very expensive and hard to find. This is the body shell. Instead of paying an exorbitant price for it, I decided to make my own Zenquish using the spare Vanquish body shell here. The only thing I need to do is to cut off this fake suspension, because the original Zenquish does not have them. So I have to cut these parts off, and then I will spray it yellow, and I will print out the decal which I found online and make it look really neat. To turn the Vanquish body shell to a Zenquish, I need to get rid of these grouting lines, and here I'm sanding the windshield. The front suspension pieces were cut off, and I'm going to use this Do It matte spray paint. It's tangerine yellow. I think it's closer to the original Zenquish body shell's color as compared to the Tamiya caramel yellow. I'm going to leave the rear suspension and the front prongs black because they give contrast to the body shell. This is where we're at now after 3 coats of the yellow spray paint. It turns out really nice on the body shell. The next step is to mask the body shell, leaving only the windshield exposed, and then we could spray the windshield black. And finally the paintwork is complete, and this is how it looks like. Pretty neat. As mentioned, I went online and looked for some photographs of the decals. I managed to Photoshop them, make them to scale and print it out, and it looks not bad. Look at the resolution, it's really good. Ta-da! The decals are put on and it looks fantastic. Look at that. Now let's put on the Zenquish body shell to the transparent chassis and see how it looks like. There you go. Now let's take it for a spin outside. That's all I have for this video. As always, thank you so much for dropping by.